If you're on Social Security and you've never heard of the Medicare Savings Program, you could be missing out on roughly $400 a month, and most people don't even know this box exists on their paperwork. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, I'll show you exactly where to look, who qualifies, and how to claim what you're owed, sometimes retroactively. Many people don't realize that Social Security and Medicare are technically separate systems, but they quietly affect each other every single month. And one of the biggest overlaps, the one almost nobody talks about, involves your Medicare Part B premium. Here's the simple version. Every month, $174.70 and rising gets automatically deducted from your Social Security check to cover Medicare Part B. Most people just accept that as a fact of life. But what if I told you that for millions of seniors, that deduction shouldn't be happening at all or should be much smaller? Let me tell you about Mary. Mary is a 71-year-old widow living on a fixed income of about $1,400 a month from Social Security. Like most people, she never questioned the Medicare deduction coming out of her check. She figured that's just how it works. What surprised Mary most was finding out that because of her income level, she actually qualified for a state program that pays her Part B premium for her completely separate from Social Security. That program is called the Medicare Savings Program, or MSP. Once Mary applied and got approved, that $174.70 stopped being deducted from her check. Her monthly Social Security deposit went up by that amount, almost $400 when you factor in a couple. And in many states, MSPs come with a bonus most people never expect. This is where things get interesting. In most states, if you qualify for a Medicare Savings Program, you automatically qualify for extra help, also called the Part 500 Low-Income Subsidy. That program helps cover your prescription drug costs, sometimes bringing your copays down to just a few dollars per prescription. So for Mary, the math looked like this: about $175 back from her Part B premium being paid for her, plus savings on her prescriptions that used to cost her over $100 a month. Added together, and Mary was suddenly $300 to $400 better off every single month, money she didn't know she was missing. But that's not the biggest issue. Here's where the story changes. A lot of people assume these programs are only for people who are extremely poor, like food stamps poor. That's actually a myth, and it's the #1 reason people don't apply. The income limits for Medicare savings programs are actually higher than most people think. In many states, a single person can have an income close to $1,800 to $2,300 a month and still qualify for at least one tier of the program. For couples, that number can be even higher. And here's the part that caught my attention. Assets matter too, but the asset limits got a major update. In most states now, you can have significantly more in savings than the old rules used to allow, often around $9,000 to $15,000 for an individual, and more for couples. Your home, your car, and your life insurance generally don't count against you. So if you've been telling yourself, I make too much, or I have too much in savings, I want you to pause that thought for a second. Because the rules changed, and a lot of people are still operating on old information. Now let's look at the numbers for someone else, James. James is 58 on SSDI after a back injury, ended his career as a mechanic. He gets about $1,500 a month. James assumed Medicare savings programs were an old person thing, something only for people 65 and up. That's another myth. If you're on Medicare because of a disability, regardless of age, you can qualify for these same programs. James applied, got approved for the Qualified Medicare Beneficiary Program, and not only had his Part B premium covered, but his Part A and B deductibles and copays were covered too. For someone managing chronic pain with regular doctor visits, that's not just $400 a month, that's potentially thousands of dollars a year and medical costs he no longer has to worry about. And there's another group that may be affected. Veterans. Robert, a 67-year-old Army veteran, gets VA benefits and Social Security. He always thought, I have VA healthcare, I don't need to mess with Medicare stuff. But here's the thing, even if you have VA coverage, you're often still required to be enrolled in Medicare Part B once you turn 65, especially if you want certain VA benefits to coordinate properly. Robert was paying that Part B premium every month out of his Social Security check, money that because of his income level, he didn't actually need to be paying. Once he looked into it, he found out he qualified for help too. Veterans are not automatically excluded from these programs, and in fact, Virginia income is sometimes treated differently than other income when states calculate eligibility. This next update may surprise you because here's the part most people miss completely. Even if you've been turned down for help before, or you applied years ago and didn't qualify, the rules and income limits get adjusted, usually every year. Someone who didn't qualify in 2022 might absolutely qualify now in 2026. If it's been more than a year or two since you checked, it's worth checking again. Nothing about reapplying costs you anything. So how do you actually find out if you qualify? Here's the practical part. The part 1 really wants you to remember. Step 1. Contact your state health insurance assistance program, often called SHIP. Every state has one. It's completely free, and they specialize in exactly this. helping people figure out if they qualify for Medicare savings programs and extra help. Step 2. You can also apply directly through your state Medicaid office. Don't let the word Medicaid scare you off. These Medicare savings programs are run through Medicaid. But qualifying for one doesn't mean you're on welfare or that it affects your other benefits negatively. It's simply the administrative system used to manage the program. Step 3. For the extra help prescription drug program specifically, you can apply directly through the Social Security Administration, either online, by phone, or at your local office. Before I explain that, let me give you one more important detail. If you apply and get approved, in many cases the change to your Social Security deposit isn't always immediate. It can take a month or two to process. But once it kicks in, it's retroactive in many states back to your application date. So don't get discouraged if your very next check doesn't show the increase right away. It's coming. Now I know what some of you might be thinking. This sounds too good to be true. There has to be a catch. Here's the honest truth. The only real catch is that you have to apply. Nothing about this is automatic. The Social Security Administration and Medicare don't go looking for people to give money to. These programs exist, but the responsibility falls on you to ask. That's exactly why so many people miss it. It's not hidden on purpose, it's just buried in paperwork most people never read closely. So let's bring it all together. Takeaway number 1, your Medicare Part B premium being deducted from your Social Security check isn't set in stone. Depending on your income, a state program may be able to cover it for you. Takeaway number 2, this isn't just for the extremely low income. The thresholds are higher than most people assume, and they're updated regularly. Takeaway number 3, this applies to retirees, people on SSDI regardless of age, and veterans too. Don't assume you're excluded. If even one of these applies to you, it's worth a single phone call to your state health insurance assistance program this week. That one call could mean an extra $300 to $400 in your pocket every single month, starting soon. Have you ever checked into this before, or is this the first time you're hearing about it? Let me know in the comments, and if you have a parent, neighbor, or friend living on a fixed income, please share this video with them. This is exactly the kind of information that gets passed along at the kitchen table, and it could make a real difference for someone you care about. If this video helped you, do me a favor and hit that like button. It really helps this information reach more people who need it. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because every week I cover updates like this for Social Security, SSDI, SSI, Medicare, and VA benefits. And if you want to know more about what else might be hiding in your benefits paperwork, check out the video on your screen right now. I think you're going to want to see this one too.